Okay, we just move on to the next topic now. That is about the FMEA. So the FMEA is the expansion is failure mode effect analysis. Failure mode effect analysis. So this is a sort of a risk analysis. And this is normally done in I think in automobile industry and aerospace industry and many of the electronics industries. And even in I have seen in Amazon where I have been working, I've been consulting for the project. So there they are doing this FMEA even in a software development or a service related companies also. This is quite popular. And this failure mode analysis is a sort of a risk analysis. So whenever you are changing a process or whenever you are changing the design of a product or service, then before implementing the change in a full scale, it is always better to do a failure mode effect analysis. So that means whenever you are making a change, and then because of that, maybe some other problems may crop in. And if that is going to be a problem, then the impact is going to be very serious. So in order to, for example, assume that I am working for a automobile manufacturing company like Maruti. So there again, in order to compete with my competitors, my company is telling that thinking of improving the fuel efficiency of the current model of the car, which is 15 to around 20 kilometers per liter. So in that case, again, I'm just trying to find out what are the possible reasons. And I'm finding that the material in which the carburetor is made of, currently maybe it is made of aluminum. And if the material is changed to some new plastics, which has come into the market, then the fuel efficiency can be increased to 20 kilometers per liter. Okay, then again, just because now I want to make that change in the design, I cannot blindly go and implement in the full production, right? Then what may happen is maybe whatever I have now done this done this change is based on some experiments which I have done in a small scale, maybe on a theoretical some simulation or some sort of pilot scale or some other changes, theoretical changes I have done. But again, it may not be very effective, or it may have some other impact on some other metric. So until unless I have thorough knowledge about if I'm going to make this change, then whether this change will not have any negative impact, even though if it is running for a longer period of time. Say, for example, now I am making this change of material change the carburetor. Now I'm changing it to plastic. But suppose if the engine is running continuously for 24 hours or 48 hours or 72 hours, is there any negative? Maybe the plastic may melt and then the carburetor may catch fire or something like that. So that probability may be there. Or maybe if I am going to run the car maybe for 5 years or 10 years, because you know that in India normally people use the car for maybe for 15 years or so. So during the 15 years of the entire life, so is there any chance that some other negative impact may be there? So until unless I just take care of, I just think in that way, and then see how the change in the design will have the impact on the safety, how will it have the impact on the quality, how will it have the impact on the cost. I like to how it will have the impact on the reliability of my car or something like that. So I like to make the analysis in so many different aspects. And then once I'm 100% confident that there will not be any negative impact, then only I can go for the change. Or even if I'm able to, I'm just doing an analysis and then I'm doing this as a team. And then as a team, we are coming out with some 5 or 10 potential problems that may encounter. Then we can just discuss about that. Then what are the actions we can take in the initial stage itself, so that we will be able to take some proactive action, so that after making those changes, if I am going to put it in the market, then the probability of any failure in the market is going to be very, very less, right? So that is the purpose of doing a failure mode effect analysis. We are doing some sort of a risk analysis. So if I'm going to make this particular change in my process or the product design, then will it have any negative impact? So will that fail by any chance, whether this product or process will fail? And then what are the potential reasons for that? And then what are the actions I can take so that I'll be able to proactively take some action so that the failure can be either eliminated, or it can be, at least the impact can be drastically reduced. So that is the purpose of doing a failure mode effect analysis. So you can see that even very giants in the automobile manufacturing, like Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, and all. So they have recalled millions and millions of their cars for failures, right? So it is not that even the big companies, they are foolproof. So again, maybe in some cases, whenever they are changing the design of any of the design, even though they have done the FMEA, they have taken all the proactive actions, still there are some occasions when millions and millions of cars are being recalled, and then that particular defect has to be fixed. Because if they don't fix it, and then maybe a particular Volkswagen car that was having some inherent defect was there because of the change in the design, and then the company knew about it, and then they didn't take any action because that was involved a huge cost of recalling those millions of cars and then taking the corrective action. But again, even if one or two of the particular car then they fail, and then that leads to some accident or some fire or something like that, and then that comes to your light, then that companies are liable for a huge penalty, right? And then they may be banned from producing further. So that is the reason, as soon as any of the particular design deficiencies are found out, then immediately those companies call, and then they recall all the components, and then they cars, and then they will replace it. So it happens in electronics industry also, like any televisions or even mobile phones. So if the manufacturing company find that some deficiency there in the design, because of it some features are compromised, maybe on the safety or quality, then they may recall, and then they will do the repair at free of cost. But again, you find that whenever you are forced to do the such type of activities, then again the impact is going to be so huge. So for example, a potential problem was there, so that was not identified at the design stage, but again that was identified during the production stage. Then the cost of repairing that will be very high, because so by the time many of the cars have been produced or something like that, so in that case again the cost of repair is going to be very high. And again, even worse will be if that particular items or the products are delivered to the market, and then they are finding that again the problem is coming, again recalling all those and then fixing it, then again that is going to lead to a lot of problem in the reputation of the company and in the cost. So that is the reason it is very, very important. FMEA is becoming a very, very important step. So whenever you are changing that, because you know that changes in the design or changes in the process are inevitable. If you don't change the design, or if you don't change the process, if you're going to continue with the same process, or if you're going to continue with the same design, then you are never going to improve. But again, whenever you are going to make those changes suddenly, without doing some any type of risk analysis like a FMEA, and then if there is going to be a failure that is detected at the time of production, or that is detected at the customer place, then that is going to have major cost and reputation implication. So that is the reason why we will have to do a FMEA, right? So just whenever we are suggestion is coming for changing the design or changing the process in order to achieve some end result of improving the certain aspect of reducing the cost, or improving the quality, or improving the productivity, or something like that. So we are making those changes in order to achieve some improvements. But again, we will have to ensure that that improvement change for that improvement does not have any negative impact or does not lead to any failures. And even if there is any chances are there, then we will have to take some proactive action so that that particular problem can be solved. So that is the purpose of doing a FMEA, or the failure mode effect analysis. So this purpose of FMEA, that it is a methodology that facilitates the process improvement, because whenever you are making some changes, then again improvement will come. But again, we will have to do the FMEA so that there is no negative impacts out there. So this identifies and eliminates the concerns early in the development of a process or a design. So whenever we are finalizing the actions for improving the design or the process at that stage itself, before implementing it, then we can do this FMEA so that we can proactively take some action. So it will improve the internal and external customer satisfaction. So it is a sort of a risk management tool and focuses on prevention of any failures. So in many cases, FMEA may be a customer requirement, especially you know that in automobile. So we have these 5 core tools like APQP and other some core tools are there. So whenever you are want to supply some components or parts to automobile manufacturing, then FMEA must, right? So Sachin, I think you are working in automobile industry.
Yes, sir. I'm working in automobile, sir.
So can you just brief or elaborate on whatever I told about the FMEA? So do you do it on a regular basis? Why do you do it and how do you do it? And maybe a brief.
Sir, in control plan, sir, in control plan, first of all we define the PFD,
Yeah.
process flow diagram.
Okay.
Then we then we prepared for FMEA, where
Okay.
the occurrences happen on that particular stage. We just detect or identify on that stage, and where which action we will take on that occurrence. We will just identifying that FMEA, and then we will prepare for control plan.
Yeah. Okay. So it is very important that we identify any potential failure modes in the process, and then we'll have to take action, and then we'll have to include that in the control plan so that is being regularly.
Also,
yeah. So that is being regularly monitored, right? That is very important.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Control plan we are using daily, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
For inspection purpose,
Yeah. Okay. So a failure mode is the way in which a component or a subassembly or a product or process could fail to perform its intended function. Right. For example, now you are doing some changes in the carburetor in order to improve the fuel efficiency. And then by making the changes in that particular material of the carburetor, so is there any chance that particular carburetor may fail? So because of which it may lead to any of the problem in the car itself. So that's what we call as a failure mode, the way in which the component or the product or process can fail. So the things can go wrong internally, like the failure mode FMEA can be applicable even in like warehouses or production processes or supply locations or even final customers, right? It is not only that, as I told you, a failure can happen even whenever we are producing or whenever we are storing it in the finished goods, or maybe it may be like whenever it was dispatched from our factory or in our place, it was good. But again, when it went to the place, then we are able to find some defects. So that is also possible. So things can go wrong even internally or externally also. So when to conduct an FMEA? So early in the product introduction, complete for B build. That means whenever we are making a new product, maybe we do the designing, then we can do a design FMEA. Then again, we can do a sort of a, whenever you are doing, if at all you are doing a pilot, then again, after getting the results of pilot, again, we can do some FMEA based on that. And then once we put into production and then produce something, again, we can do some FMEA, right? We can do FMEA at the different stages and ensure that based on the experience, whatever you have gained, because whenever you do the designing and then do the FMEA, maybe whatever we are doing the analysis, that can be only theoretical. We do not have any practical knowledge. But whenever we do the pilot and then whenever we do the production, then again, we gain some knowledge and experience. So based on that, maybe we'll be able to get our FMEA can be more thorough. So always it is better to, normally FMEA is a regular process. Maybe every 2 to 3 months, we do it regularly and then see any new risks have been come. And then we constantly do the FMEA regularly. So even if you do the changes now, it is not that we do the FMEA only once and then we leave it forever. So we constantly do the FMEA for the same process, maybe every 3 months or so, then try to identify any risk, and then we try to take some action. So this FMEA was first introduced in the year 1960s in the aerospace industry during the Apollo missions. That was the first time the FMEA was formally introduced. Then in 1974, the US Navy developed the MIL standard 169 regarding the usage of FMEA for their, whenever they are supplying or producing something, then this FMEA was made mandatory. And then in the late 1970s, again, the automotive industry was driven by the liability cost to use FMEA. That means until and they have to give to the FMEA, and then they will have to give the results of FMEA to the customers. That was becoming mandatory. And then now these ISO TS 16949 or QS 9000. So these are all related to the automotive industry. So there again, this is FMEA is becoming mandatory. So again, as I told you, again, you started in the 1970s during the Apollo missions. Then again, these AB-Sat-1. So that was a first ever 4-inch cube satellite that was to be accepted by NASA for launch. And then whenever they wanted to launch this particular satellite, then they faced some error, problem, right? So once the satellite was deployed, then they found that one of the two antenna failed to deploy. And then they found that the problem was because of the power of the signal transmitter was not enough. So how it was solved? Then this was solved by using another signal transmitter from a earlier flight, which had enough power to enable the communication. So the lessons learned, because here again, the problem happened. And then because luckily they had another signal flight, which was already there. And then based on that, they were able to use it. But again, if they were not having that, then they would have landed into a problem. Then this mission would have ended in a failure. So based on this, the lessons learned was plan for error. That means whenever you are doing the design, then you will have to assume that this will definitely fail. And then based on that, then you will have to look for what type of potential errors can come because of this particular design or process, and then what are the actions you can take. So that's what you are going to learn. And then we will have to again reach out to the different teams. So whenever you are doing the FMEA, normally you do it as a cross-functional team, right? So people from production, quality, maintenance, purchase, and customer. So all of them are involved, so that they will be able to identify the potential errors. So the FMEA can be, there are two types of FMEA is possible. The first one is the design FMEA. So that means the design FMEA is done whenever we are analyzing a particular product design before we are releasing to production, right? So that means before we have made a design and the design has been approved, and then before that particular design is taken to production, then we'll have to again do a FMEA to see whether there are any deficiencies in the design that can lead to failure at the later stage. That is the design FMEA. And process FMEA, we normally do it whenever you're doing the manufacturing or assembly processes before they are implemented. So that means, for example, I'm doing a Six Sigma project, and then I am doing a project to improve the productivity. And then I have identified some root causes, and then based on which I have recommended some 4 solutions for implementation. But again, before implementing those solutions in the full production, then I'll have to do a process FMEA. Just by making the particular change in the process, then is there any possibility of any failure in the product or in the process? And then if at all that is going to happen, then what are the proactive actions I can take so that I'll be able to eliminate those failure modes. So that is what we call as a process FMEA. Okay. So before going into the individual listing, I'll just try to expose you to some of the normal usual terminologies which are used in that. So I will just give an example for you so that it will be easier for you to understand. Okay. So first, in order to do the FMEA, first we will have to identify the process where you want to improve, or what is the requirement that to be met. So what is the requirement that needs to be met? The requirement to be met, or what is the process I want to improve, or where I want to do the FMEA. So in my case, as an example, I tell you that I just started my company in the year 2015. That means almost 6 years back. And then I started taking the online classes. So when I started taking the online classes, the requirement was that the process what I wanted to do on the process on which I wanted to do the FMEA was, the process was the online training. And then my requirement that need to be met was to provide 8 hours of uninterrupted training service to the participants. So that was the requirement, right? So then I need to really analyze what are the ways in which I can fail, right? So my objective is to provide 8 hours of uninterrupted training services to the participant. So if this is my requirement, then what are the failures that may prevent me from achieving this target or meeting this requirement? So can you just come out with some of the failures that can potentially happen, because of which I will not be able to provide these 8 hours of uninterrupted training service to the participants? So can you come out with some of the ways in which this requirement I may be able to, I may fail to meet the requirement? Yeah, Sena, you can just tell. Yeah. Can you just tell me what are the possible failures that can happen? Yeah, internet disconnection. Yes. So internet disconnection or internet connectivity may be a problem failure. So if the internet fails, then I will not be able to connect to the participants, and accordingly.
Power failure also one of the failure.
Okay, internet failure, then power failure. Okay, then what else? Communication. Okay, miscommunication, you can say. Okay, then even in this class again we faced a problem, right? That was a hardware issue, right? I had a problem in laptop. Luckily, it is solved now, but again there was a disruption. So hardware issues. Suppose if suddenly the laptop process, right? If the laptop process, or maybe there may be a problem with the laptop, or there may be a problem with my mic or speaker or something like that. So these are all some of the hardware issues, because of which again there may be a problem may come. Hardware issues, software issues, health issues. Suddenly I feel sick, terribly sick, so that I am not able to take the training session. So health issues, right? Sudden health issues. So these are all some of the potential failure modes, because of which I will not be able to take the class. I will not be able to meet my requirement. So whenever you are doing the FMEA, first thing is you have to identify what are the failure modes. So what is a failure mode? Is the way in which the process input fails. So what are the possible reasons because of which I will not be able to meet the requirements? That is the failure mode. So first I'll have to identify all the potential failure modes, right? So maybe from now onwards, I will just try to just address, take only the internet failure as a failure mode, and then I will take it to the further process, right? So like this, in your process, you'll have to identify all the failure modes, and then we'll have to do the analysis. So as an example, I'll just do only with the internet failure issue, connectivity issue. So that is the failure mode that has been identified. So that is the failure mode that has been identified. So once you have identified the failure mode, then the next thing what you'll have to do is to give a rating for the impact. So what is the effect? So what is the effect if there is a failure because of the internet? What will be the effect of this particular failure on the my requirement, right? So the impact the failure has on the output parameter. So my requirement is to give 8 hours of uninterrupted training to the participant. And if there is going to be an internet connectivity issue, then what is going to be the impact on the meeting the requirement? So that is the effect. So for the effect, then I like to give a severity rating. So depending upon the impact. So the impact is going to be very high, then I like to give a severity rating of 10. And if the impact is going to be very less, then I will be giving a rating of 1. So I like to give a severity rating in the scale 1 to 10. 10 if the impact is going to be very high, and 1 if the impact is going to be very less. So in my case, in this case, whenever there is an internet connectivity issue is there, so that means, say, for example, now I'm talking to you, and then suddenly I'm finding the internet connectivity issue is there. So that means I'm going to be totally disconnected from you. And then I am not very sure whether the internet is going to be restored within 5 minutes, or within 1 hour, or within 5 hours, or 1 day. Maybe I may ask you to wait for 10-15 minutes. Then I don't have any other alternative but to contact you through the WhatsApp group, and then tell you that maybe the class is going to be postponed, right? So that means whenever the internet connectivity is going to be there, the effect is going to be very severe, because I may have to, the requirement will not be fulfilled. So in that case, I may give you a severity rating of 10, right? The severity rating of 10, because normally the 10 means there is going to be sudden failure without any warning. So again, for the rating from 1 to 10, so what are the different, when do you give the rating of 1, when do you give the rating of 5, when do you give the rating of 10? Again, there are some guidelines are there. So we are going to learn about that towards the end of this particular session. So you can just go by the guidelines, or you can just formulate your own guideline, and then accordingly you can just give the rating, right? So there is no hard and fast rule. Again, normally this type of FMEA, again, it is done as a group, as a team, as a cross-functional team. And then whenever you are going to give a rating, again, the people will have different opinions. And then somebody will say that we'll have to give a rating of 5. Somebody will say that we'll have to give a rating of 8 or 10 or something like that. Then again, the guidelines will also be there. Even though guidelines are available, again, the rating is going to be subjective. And then finally, when the team itself is accepting a consensus, come to a consensus, and then say that they decide that, okay, we'll give a rating of 8 or 9 or something like that, then the rating will be given based on the consensus, right? So that's how the severity, occurrence, and detection ratings are given. So we have now identified what are the failure mode, what is the way in which I will be failing to meet the requirement, that is the internet connectivity, and then the impact is going to be very high, so I have given a rating of 10. Then I try to find out what are the potential causes, so that can lead to this particular failure. So what are the possible root causes that may lead to internet connectivity issues? So if you see the root causes, so one of the root causes may be the internet service provider issue. Internet service provider issue. So that means currently I am using Airtel broadband optical line, Airtel broadband optical line. So this is the connectivity I'm having. And if there is going to be a problem, say, for example, now you know that all these optical fibers are going under the ocean. And if there is going to be a fish bite is going to be there, the fiber is cut, then again, if that may happen somewhere near the UK, that Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean, but again, that may have impact on my internet connectivity, right? So if there is going to be a problem with the internet service provider issue, maybe some equipment issue or the fiber issue or something like that, again, the internet connectivity may be lost. And the other possible causes may be the power failure. Because once the power fails, then the modem is going to be disconnected, and the modem is going to be disconnected. Again, I will not be able to connect to the internet service provider, and then accordingly, the internet connectivity issues will come. So for the internet connectivity, the failure mode, there are two possible causes are there. Either I can have a problem with the internet service provider, or there may be a power failure. So these are the potential causes for the problem. And then I'll have to give a occurrence rating depending upon the frequency with which the cause occurs. So if this particular cause is happening more frequently, very frequently, maybe every day, then I may give a rating of 10. But if it is going to happen maybe once in 3 months or something like that, then I may give a rating of 1. So in my place, maybe this type of internet service provider should happen maybe once in a week or something like that. So which is moderate. So I can give a rating of 6 as a occurrence rating. Same way power failure. So currently I'm connected to my government power grid. And then here also, like maybe once in a week or something like that, suddenly the power fails, right? If there is going to be a power shutdown is going to be there, if it is going to be a preventive maintenance, and if I'm getting a advanced information about that, then I can able to take a action before. But again, if the power fails suddenly the power fails, then I will not have any other alternative but to the internet is going to be affected. So again, in my case, maybe it happens maybe once in 10 days or something like that. So I give a rating of 5, right? So there is the occurrence rating. Then I'll have to evaluate what is the control mechanism I am having. So whenever this particular failure happens because of any of these causes, so what is the control mechanism I am having, either to detect the failure or prevent the failure, right? So I should be having some mechanism by which I will be able to get some advance warning that this particular failure is going to happen, so that I can take some proactive action. Like for example, I told you if there is going to be a scheduled power shutdown is going to be there, then if I have a mechanism by which I get the WhatsApp or SMS from the board, electricity board, then I will be able to take up some action. So in that case, I'll be able to easily direct it. I get an advance warning. But if the power failure comes suddenly without any warning and I don't have any control over that, then the detection rating, I will have to give a rating of 10. So I'll give a rating of 1 if I am getting advance warning, enough warning, so that I'll be able to make some alternate arrangement. Then I give a rating of 1. But again, if the failure comes all of a sudden without any warning, then I give the maximum rating of 10. So in both the cases, internet service provider ratio, because currently I'm having a modem, and whenever the internet there is a failure from the ISP, then I just find that out of 9 green lights which should be glowing, then only 1 or 2 lights are glowing. So that means I can understand that there is a internet issue is there. But again, that comes happens suddenly, right, without any warning. So in front of me now, I am having the modem, and I am seeing all the lights are glowing. In the next second, I am finding that suddenly all the lights are gone, only 1 light is glowing. So that means my internet connectivity is lost. So that comes without any warning. So I give a detection rating of 10. Same way, power failure. So I have my main, I have a 3-phase connection. So 3 in the input, 3 indicators are red indicators are now on. But suddenly I find that one of this thing, maybe all the 3 phases or maybe 1 or 2 phases are gone. So in that case, suddenly the power fails, then without any warning. So again, I give a detection rating of 10 for the power failure also. So that means for each of the causes, then I will have to see what is I will have to evaluate what is the current control mechanism I'm having, either to detect the failure or to prevent the failure. So based on if I'm having a robust control, then I will give a rating of 1. If my control mechanism is very, very weak, then I give a rating of 10. Okay, so now I have given severity rating, I have given occurrence rating depending upon the frequency, and I have a detection rating based on the current control mechanism, how far it is able to detect or prevent the error. So now I have the rating of yes, that is a severity is yes, occurrence is O, and detection is D. So I have a 3 ratings. Then once I have the ratings of all the 3, then I just calculate the risk RPN, that is equal to risk priority number. So I calculate this by multiplying yes severity rating multiplied by the occurrence rating multiplied by the detection rating, S into O into D. So if I just calculate the RPN for this for the internet service provider ratio, so that is equal to 10 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 10. So that is equal to 600. And then for the power failure issue, again 10, that is a severity rating multiplied by the occurrence rating 5 multiplied by the detection rating 10. So that is equal to 500. So this is the RPN I am getting for each of the causes. So like that, for each of the other failure modes, like the laptop failure or the hardware failure or software failure, health issue, or whatever is that. So for each of the failure modes, then I will try to find out what are the potential root causes. Again, for each of the failure mode, there may be more than one root causes also may be there. So I will identify all the causes for that. And then I will evaluate the current control mechanism, and then I will just give the rating for the severity, occurrence, and detection, and then I will calculate the RPM, right? Then maybe I have identified some 6 failure modes, and then I have identified some 10 causes are there, and then now I have 10 RPM values. Then I just arrange the failure modes in the descending order of the RPM, and then I may decide on which of the failure modes I am going to take action. Again, that is left to me as a person who is doing the FMEA. I may decide that I may take action on the top 3 RPMs, right? Top 3 problems, wherever the RPM is the highest, top 3 I will take action, or the top 5. Or I can say that wherever the RPM is more than, say, 700, or wherever the RPM is more than 500, I will take action. Or I may decide that I will take action wherever the impact severity rating is 10, or wherever the occurrence rating is 10. So like that, on which of the failure modes I am going to take action. So that is again left to the person who is actually doing the FMEA, right? So then I will have to really again find out, okay, this is what is the causes, and then what are the solutions I can take so that the risk can be reduced, right? Then I just do the this thing brainstorming session, and I arrive at some solution. I have to come out with some action plan, right? So in this case, again for the internet service provider issue, then I was planning for two actions. One is I just went for the dongle or the data card or the dongle from a different service provider. So dongle from Vodafone. So then I immediately purchased the data card and dongle for Vodafone, so that even if there is going to be a failure Airtel broadband, then immediately I can attach the data card from Vodafone, and then I will be able to continue the trial. And then recently I have bought the Geo mobile data. So now I am using the mobile phone which is near to me. So in case of any internet failure, then immediately I will connect my mobile data from another service provider, that is Geo, so that immediately within maybe 4, 5, 10 minutes, I will be able to connect it again, right? So that now these are the two actions I have taken. And as far as the power failure is concerned, then initially I was not having any inverter, but now once I started taking the training, then I went in for an inverter. So that even if there's going to be a power failure, then immediately I have in every room, I have the points, inverter points are there, so that I'm even now I am connected to the plug point is connected to the inverter connection, so that even if there is going to be a power failure, then immediately the power will come from the inverter, so that there will not be any disruption. So now these are the two actions I have taken. So after taking the action, again, I have to recalculate the RPN. So now whenever I'm doing the recalculate the RPN, again, whenever the internet connectivity issue comes, then again, the impact is not going to be reduced, right? Even now, whenever the internet connectivity is going to be there, then the impact is going to be very high. So the rating is going to be 10. But again, the occurrence rating, if the internet connectivity is lost because of the internet service provider issue, then if the internet failure happens because of the service provider issue, then immediately I will be using any one of these other mode, so that I will be able to, within 5-10 minutes, I will be able to get connected to the, I will be regaining the connectivity. So in that case, the occurrence rating may be, instead of 6, it may be 1. Because I can confidently say that I will be able to reconnect. Same way for the inverter problem also, whenever the power failure comes, then immediately it will be connected to the inverter, so that there will not be any disruption in the service. So again, the occurrence rating, I will give a rating of 1. And again, the control mechanism. So even now, whenever the internet failure happens, it comes suddenly without any warning. So again, there is no change in that. So that will remain as 10. Same way, whenever the power failure happens, that also comes without any warning. So I give a rating of 10. So again, the RPN after the action is taken is 10 into 1 into 10. That is equal to 100. That is for the internet failure. And then for the power failure, again, 10 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 10. That is equal to 100. So that means initially the RPN was, the risk was very high at 600 and 500. But after evaluating this particular risk and then taking action, then again, my risk has now substantially come down, right? So that means whatever the action I have taken is very effective. So then, as I told you, this FMEA has to be done on a regular interval, right? So now I do this. So initially I identified some 10 failure mode. And then I decided that wherever the RPN is more than 500, I will take action. Then I have identified these two, that is the internet service provider and power failure. Then I address the two issues. Then it has taken me around 1 month for me to take this action. Then after the 1 month, after taking this action and finding that it is effective, then I again redo the FMEA. Then since I have taken action, then this RPN is going to be very low. But again, what may happen is now the other laptop issue or the hardware issue, so that may be having the RPN of maybe 400 or 300 or 350 like that. So in that case, then I may, at the second FMEA, then I may decide that I will take action on the laptop issue or the hardware issue. So like that, if I'm going to do this particular FMEA for 3 or 4 cycles, so by the time I would have taken a lot of action, and then my risk would have been come down. So now I think I have taken, so now I would have taken maybe around more than 1,000 to 1,500 sessions in the last 6 years. but not even a single session that has been affected because of the power failure, right? So not even half an hour of the session I did lose because of the internet connectivity issue, because I have taken these two action. But I had one interruption, one program, one session I had to cancel because of the hardware issue. My mic and speaker was not working, and because of which I was forced to cancel a 4-hour session. And then today, and maybe even last week, I had this problem of this laptop issue, suddenly restarting because of some error. So that means now these are the errors I will have to now take. What are the actions I will have to take so that this can be avoided in future. But again, now I cannot say that as a FMEA because the failure has already occurred, right? FMEA is normally done to proactively identify what are the problems. So this internet connectivity, whatever the actions I have taken, so this is actually a real FMEA I have done practically, and I have been enjoying the benefit of that, right? So the FMEA is really done, usually done in order to proactively think about what are the ways in which I may be failing to achieve a requirement, fulfill my requirement, and then I'll be able to identify the reason. Then I'll be able to take some action so that the risk is reduced, so that I will not be able to, I will not get any interruptions or failures during the whenever it is running, right? Okay.
It is done before the process event occurs.
Yeah, before the event occurs. Yeah, that's why the FMEA will be done. So
Hello.
yeah, the FMEA is done normally before the process or the design is released, before releasing that.
Sir, there is one question.
Yeah.
On this basis, we will decide the rating, sir.
Yeah. I will
of
come to
the-
that. Yeah, I will come to that. There is a guidelines is there. So I will come to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So is there any questions or clarification needed in the concept and the example, whatever I explained to you? Okay, now I think you are having a clear understanding about what is the failure mode, then what is the effect. The effect we are measuring in terms of severity. Then we are trying to identify what are the root causes for the particular failure mode. And then we give the occurrence rating depending upon the frequency of occurrence. And then we evaluate the current control mechanism we are having in order to prevent or detect that particular failure mode. And then depending upon that, we give a detection rating in the scale 1 to 10, right? And then we do the calculate the RPN. Then we prioritize the failure modes on which we are going to take action. Then we take the action. We wait till the effectiveness is maintained. Then again we do the FMEA again, recalculate the RPN, and then we may decide to work upon some other risk, right? So that's how we are doing the FMEA. So this is the process whatever you are going to follow. So on the whatever the process or the design you want to do the FMEA, first you have to do the review. Review the process or design of the product or service on which you are going to do the FMEA. So that is the preparation stage. Then once you have done the review, then you identify what are the potential failure modes. FM means failure mode. Then once you have identified the failure mode, for each of the failure mode, you identify the potential effect. So what is the effect it is going to have? And then based on the impact, you give the assign the severity rating. If the impact is going to be very high, 10. If it is going to be low, then it is 1. Then once you have done that, then you have to identify what are the potential causes that may lead to the particular failure mode. Then you have to assign the occurrence rating for each of the failure mode. Then you evaluate the current controls and then assign the detectability rating for each of the failure mode. Then prioritize the failure mode based on the RPN, risk priority number. Then identify and implement the actions leading to the improvement, and then reassess the risk with another FMEA cycle. And then based on that again you can decide upon working upon some other risk. So like that it is going to be a continuous. Ideally, it is better to do FMEA every quarter. So every 3 months you do the FMEA, then identify some focus areas for improvement, then take action, then wait till the improvement stabilizes. Again, you do the FMEA after the 3rd month. So like that is going to be a continuous effort. So this is how we are calculating the RPN. So this again the rating, right? When are you? How we are going to give the rating? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 means the severity rating you will give 1 if the impact is no effect is going to be there. Occurrence remote failure is unlikely, maybe 1 in 1.5 million chances are there. That is the occurrence. Detection. So design control will detect potential cause of the failure and substitute failure mode. That means you are having some mechanism by which you will be able to immediately know, or you will be able to immediately prevent any failures of that. In that case, you give a rating of 1. So 2. So that means the system operable with minimum interference. So that means, okay, you know that there is a problem, but again, say for example, now a particular machine is running, I will give a severity rating of 2. If even though that the failure of, say, I'm talking about the, say, some design of a particular o-ring or something like that. So even if that o-ring fails, there will be some problem with that, but again, I'll be able to continue to run the machine with a minimum interference. Maybe every 2 or 3 hours, there's some problem with that. I'll have to stop the machine for 2 minutes, but again, I'll be able to continue. If that is the case, then I give a rating of 2. So like that, as the severity goes on increasing, then the rating also will go on increasing. Same way about the frequency and reduction. Then the highest rating of 10 you will give when the impact is very high severity ranking, when a potential failure mode affects operation without warning. So as I told you, like whenever I'm taking the training and suddenly the internet fails without any warning, and the next second my connectivity is going to be lost, then I will have to give a rating of 10. Again, the occurrence very high, failure is almost inevitable. Maybe once in a day or once in every 2 days. If there is going to be internet connectivity issue, then I have to give a rating of 10. Same way, detectability. That means design control cannot detect potential cause and subsequent failure mode. So that means whatever the mechanism I'm having, I'm not getting any warning. I will not be able to prevent, or I'm not getting any prior information, so that the failure happens suddenly. Then I give a rating of 10 for the detection, right? So this is the normal template which use it for doing the FMEA analysis. So FMEA number, then what is the FMEA type, whether that's the design FMEA or the process FMEA, which item, maybe it may be a product, or it may be a service, or it may be a assembly, or it may be a component, or whatever it is. So you'll have to which item on which you are going to do the FMEA. Then who is responsible for doing the particular FMEA, which department, who has prepared that, what are the data preparation of FMEA, then what was the model or vehicle or any product, whatever you're going to do that. Then what are the team which did the FMEA, right? Then this is a template. So what is the function or the process or the requirements, right? So on which you are going to do the FMEA. So in my case, what are the example I gave you, the requirement was I was doing the online training process, and my requirement was to provide 8 hours of uninterrupted training to the participants. So that was my requirement, and I was doing the FMEA on the online training process. The potential failure mode, I had identified many potential failure mode. So one of the failure mode was the internet connectivity issue. Then what was the potential effect of failure? So as soon as there is a power internet failure issue is there, then the connectivity with the participant will be lost, and accordingly the session has to be cancelled. So that is the potential effect. So what is the severity? So depending upon the impact of the effect, then I have to give a rating of severity rating. So we gave a rating of severity rating of 10. Then what is the potential cause of failure? Again, we have identified 2 potential causes. One is the internet service provider issue, and another is a power failure. Then depending upon the frequency, maybe it is happening once in a week or once in 10 days. So depending upon that, I gave a rating of 6 and 5. Then what is the current control mechanism? So current control mechanism is that whenever the ISP issue is there, then I get only the modem will give an indication saying that there is an issue. But again, I will not get any advance warning. Same way, whenever the power fails, then in the input power point, I will the light should be switched off, the indicator will be off. But again, I will not be getting enough warning, right? Indicator will be there, but I will not be able to detect it before the failure happens, or I will not be able to control before the failure happens. So the detection rating, I am giving a rating of 10 and 10. Then the RPN is for the internet service provider issue, 10 into 6 into 10, 600. And for the power failure issue, 10 into 5 into 10, 500. Recommended action, so go for a dongle or a data card from another service provider, go for a mobile data. For the power failure, go for the inverter. So I was responsible for taking the action. And again, I took the action. And then after the taking the action, again, I did the recalculated. Then it was 10, 1, and 10. That is 100. 10, 1, and 10, 100. So that means from the very moderate or a very high risk rate, it has now drastically reduced. So now I can think of working on some other. Now I'll have to go for hardware issue, right? In laptop or mic and this thing. So what are the ways it can potential failure can happen, so that at least in future I'll be able to take some action, right? So the summary, FMEA is a mathematical way to identify what are the failure modes in which the process or the product can fail. So because of failure, what are the effects, and you give a rating of severity. What are the causes which are leading to the failure modes, and what is the occurrence of those causes? Then how effective my current detection mechanism is based on the detection. Then based on the RPN, you'll be able to take up action. So I'll just show you a template which can be where I have also some examples, and that same template you can use it for your process also. Okay, so this is a template. Again, this again similar to what I was showing you. What is the process step or input or the requirement? Then what is the potential failure mode? Then what is the failure effect? You can just write it down. And then what is the severity rating? And what are the potential causes? So for a particular failure mode, so there may be more than one cause may be there. So in that case, again, we just add one more row. And then you can say that this failure mode is common, right? You just merge these two. So merge two, and then this is the first cause and this is the second cause, right? So you can just do that. Then for each of the causes, then you try to identify what are the current controls. So each of the causes, you will give the occurrence rating. Then for each of the causes, again, you give the detection rating. Then calculate the RPN for each of the causes. Then what are the recommended action? Who is responsible? What are the actions taken? And after that action taken has been proven, then again recalculate the RPN, and then you will be able to do that, right? So again, we have got some 3 examples are there. Example 1, 2, 3. Then you have got a example from manufacturing, then from finance, from healthcare, from then this again the some of the guidelines. So when to give, how to give the rating for the severity, occurrence, and detection, right? So this template, I think I already shared with you in the WhatsApp group, so that you can immediately start using that. So I think this AD report and will help you to quantify the problem, identify the root causes, and solve the problem of any non-conformances in the to the customer or the in process. And FMEA will help you to take some proactive actions so that you will be able to prevent any failure modes whenever you are changing the design or the process. So any doubt or clarification needed?
Sir, that rating I can't clear, sir. How we decide the severity occurrence rating? I'm not clear that.
Okay, so if you see, so for example, this is the hazardous or without warning. So if the failure happens without warning, so again, these are all some of the say whenever say that without warning means may expose client to loss. So that means, say for example, if the failure happened, currently the customer is assembling something, some electronic component, and then suddenly this particular component fails. So because of which his entire line is going to stop, right? He cannot proceed further on that, right? So whenever you are exposing client to the loss without any warning or harm or major disruption, so failure will occur without warning suddenly. So whenever I am doing the particular FMEA on a machine or a part or a component, suddenly it collapses, right? Without any warning, then I give a rating of 10. Then if it is going to harm or major failure will occur with warning. So that means failure is going to happen. But for example, this problem, whatever I'm talking to you today, whatever I faced, the sudden restarting of the laptop. So that means this is again the second time, right? So second time it has given the warning. So that means I'll have to take, do some sort of FMEA, and then I'll have to take some action immediately. Otherwise, what is going to happen is maybe maybe after a week or 10 days, suddenly it is going to collapse, and then the laptop is going to be dead. So now at least I was able to come back within 10 minutes. But if I'm not going to take action, that means it has given some warning, right? Whatever the failure is there, it has already given some warning, so that I'll be able to, the impact is going to be very less. So that is why I gave a rating of 9. So depending upon the extent of impact, if the failure is going to happen suddenly without any warning, then I give a rating of 10. And if I'm going to get enough warning and it is not having any impact, then it's going to have 1. So again, as I told you, this rating of 1 to 10 is going to be subjective. So again, as a team, you will have to discuss, and then you will have to give a rating in the scale 1 to 10.
Okay. Yeah. It will decide the CFT team, no?
Yeah. Okay. Same for occurrence, right? Occurrence means, for example, very high. So if more than once per day, right, then you'll have to give a rating of 10. Once every 3 to 4 days, 1 in 3. So even these are all only, as I told you, it's only a guideline. So maybe you can just prepare your company specific guidelines also you can prepare.
Own rating, You will decide own rating for that particular failure.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So there is no universal standards that 10 means there is no universal standard. So you can prepare your own company standard, or as a person who is doing the FMEA, you can formulate your own guidelines, because it is going to be only a comparative rating, right? So whenever you are going to assess the 5 failure modes, then you are going to, if you are going to do the FMEA and you are having a set of guidelines, so you are going to use the particular guideline for all the failure modes, right? So your standards are going to be the same, right? So in that case, the idea is to only to prioritize on which of the risks you are going to act first, right? So since you are going to use the same guideline, then you will be able to identify the prioritize this thing on which you need to take the action.
Okay, clear, sir.
Yeah, as I told you, this FMEA is useful for service industry also. Basically, when I was doing the project review for this Six Sigma projects in Amazon, both the green belt and black belt project, then in the improve phase, then this FMEA is actually one of the mandatory actions they'll have to take. That is actually part of the checklist. So whenever I do the project review, then during the improve phase, there is a 1 point in my checklist saying that whether you have done the FMEA, right? Then they will have to show me the evidence of doing the FMEA, then whether they have identified any of the failure modes, and then what are the actions they have taken. So again, I will review that. And then once I'm satisfied, then only I will approve the project to be taken to the control phase. Otherwise, I will not approve. So that is a very, very useful. As I told you, not only for any manufacturing or anything, everywhere FMEA is useful for any type of industry, any type of this thing operations, whether it is manufacturing or service or anything. Okay. So are there any doubts or clarification needed, both on AT and FMEA? Okay, you can just give your feedback, maybe your verbal feedback, you can just give your views. Meanwhile, I will just send you a link, so in which you can give the feedback about this particular session. So that will help us to improve further in our future session. So meanwhile, if one or two of you can give any inputs, like your feedback, then you are welcome now. Okay. So by the meantime, I'll just share you the link. It is just a Google Sheet. Some 3-4 questions are there. So you can just answer those questions. I will put it in the chat box. Yeah. So meanwhile, maybe if you one or two of you want to give any feedback, you can just tell me. So whether this was meeting your expectations or something like that.
It was the session which this was the part of a Six Sigma process,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
that we cover, because Six Sigma, as far as I know, that there are many phases, like the Pareto chart is there, means everything means it's something like a block of Six Sigma.
Yeah. Okay,
And
now I have this thing. I have given the link for the feedback. So you can just click open the link and then some 3-4 questions are there. So I request you to give the feedback in the feedback form. Yeah. Yes, Sina, you can continue.
yeah,
Yeah.
sir, regarding if we mention the 8D or the FMEA, something like it's all means, as you say, that both 8D and FMEA is covered in both the manufacturing and service sector.
Yeah.
So could you please I belong to healthcare.
Okay.
So where it occurs, means FMEA, because it's basically a software that we provide.
Okay.
So it's like a bugging or something like some issues there. So how it can means deal with the means how FMEA came into a picture.
Okay. So what is the ultimate requirement? So you are giving a software which is to be connected to some healthcare instrument or something like that. Right?
Yeah, like hospitals.
Yeah, hospital. Say for example, now some life saving, some say for example, some respirator. What do you call that?
Yeah, like test, like there are certain tax. What are the tests in hospitals, like your CBC or something like right now the corona
Ah,
antigen test.
yeah,
So just a practical example.
yeah,
Nowadays, like corona examples is
yeah.
there,
Okay,
and RT-PCR test and everything.
okay.
So how would the FME correlate with that
No,
thing?
what actually RT-PCR test? No, what actually you supply to the customer?
Uh,
You
uh, we provide the total healthcare support, means like from the opening of hospital to a complete software related to hospital care.
hospital care. Yeah. Say for example, now you are giving the software,
Hmm.
and then what are the ways in which the software can fail, right? So maybe there may be some voltage fluctuation may be there. So if the voltage fluctuation is there, maybe your software may get corrupted or something like that, or maybe some virus this thing can come. So because of that, again, your software can go wrong. No? So if you are going to give a product or service to your customer, so what are the different ways in which it can fail? Maybe somebody may operate it in a wrongly, right? Because he is not having proper training.
Mostly we cover into a billing section. Like suppose that your bill is 1,000 rupees and someone can charge you 15,000. Like
Yeah,
like a number game.
yeah. So what are the different ways it can fail? Right? Either it can be because of some operator error, or it can be because of some malfunctioning of the software, some bugs in the software. So you have to identify all those things. What are the different ways it can fail, and then you have to do the exercise. Okay. So any other questions, Sachin?
Sir, from my side, there is no question.
Yeah.
I want to ask about Green Six Sigma for green belt and black belt course.
Yeah. So we are actually conducting every
Yes,
month. Yeah, every month. So
yeah.
December batch already one class is over last Sunday. So tomorrow the second session will be going on. So 4 Sundays we'll be having 8 hours each, and
Okay.
the January
8 hours.
session will start. Yeah, so we will send you the information, further information about the January batch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will discuss. We will discuss on WhatsApp one per one. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay. No any questions, sir, from my side.
Okay. Mr. Pal, any inputs from your side? Mr. Pal, Mr. Mohammed, Imran. Okay, Mr. Ajit, any input from your side?
Uh, Currently, I don't have my throat is not much good, that much good, sir. So I'm not able to speak anything.
Yeah.
The message I want to answer.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Rusalbia, so I think you are giving some feedback in the chat box. So was it useful to you?
Yes, before this, I just know these tools in terms of theoretical, but now I see the application clearly.
Yeah,
so, so I wish that I will be able to apply those tools later.
Yeah. So you are basically in quality function or operations?
Actually, I am from education background.
Okay.
But my organization is implementing operational excellence, and one of it is Lean Six Sigma. So
okay.
I need to know the tools and techniques, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we'll be regularly in touch with you. So we are offering other courses also, like measurement system analysis and lean tools and everything. So we will inform you. Like.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, one point is, if you start with some other tools or something, so could you please inform us?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So Riaz will always be in touch with you, because since that you have attended this session, so your name will be there in the database. So normally, I think next week, I think we are having a session next Saturday, the same time, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. We are having a session on the 7 QC tools in Excel. So how you can all these Pareto chart and control charts and everything. So how you can do that in Excel. So we will be giving you give the explanation, and then we will give the templates. So that once you collect the data from your process, then you can put it in the Excel, then automatically everything will come. So that session we are having next week. So every month we are having a schedule, and then we will inform you about that, so that you'll be able to participate in that.
Okay, sir. I will join that session also, sir.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Okay.
So actually, I do have one thing. One doubt is personal, something like, sir, I just enrolled for the next session, but for next session, I have to go to my office on Saturday. So
okay.
I just enrolled for both the sessions. So is there any other classes for that next session, 7 QC tools? I had enrolled for both, but I have to go to my office on that.
Oh, okay. You are enrolled for both, huh?
Yeah, and I just communicate the same to Riyaz.
Yeah. Okay. So anyhow, we will be sending you the this recordings. Even all the like you are participated now, you will get the recording. So again, we will send you the recordings as soon as the next week class is completed. You just go through that, and then if again you want to attend the class, then whenever the next session is there, then we will definitely inform you.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So again, I think request you to again like fill up the feedback form, so that will be helpful for us to improve our testing. And if you have completed the testing, so thanks for attending the session. Hope you had a good learning session, and hope to meet you again in the any of our future sessions. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, we will get certificate by Monday.
Yeah, I think I have already. Maybe tonight you can get, because maybe you can get it the WhatsApp immediately. The mail, maybe you can get it on Monday.
Okay.
And I got, sir. I got on WhatsApp.
Yeah. So in WhatsApp, maybe I think you would have got it now. Then mail, I think latest by Monday you'll get it. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.